Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So yesterday and today, Ryan Upchurch posted some videos about some more theories of his and evidence that he has in the Kiely Rodni situation. And yeah, I'm about to react, and I'm about to react hard, okay? So also, before I start getting a lot of hate from his fans or whatever in my comments, I'm going to tell whoever this is pertaining to right now, I don't really give a crap what y'all have to say, okay? I was on board with a lot of stuff that Ryan was saying at first. I totally saw where his brain was coming from for most things. Not everything, most things, okay? So I could see why his brain stayed intrigued in the situation. But at this point, he has gone way too far. He is disrespecting this family, and he is disrespecting this dead little girl. I'm going to be reacting to this pretty much in the order as he is saying it in this video. He's officially gone too far, in my opinion, and that's just what it is. So right in the beginning, Ryan is wanting to call out the press conference, okay? Well, guess what? I did too. I called them out for this press conference and how they behaved during this press conference because of how salty they behaved about the fact that Adventures with Purpose were the ones who found Kiely. Then they're asked if any of the 400 miners that were interviewed mentioned anything about a car going in the water, and the officer states no. And Ryan puts a emoji. Well, no duh, home skillet. Isn't that kind of like the whole point here, that no one saw or heard anything? It's not like the stuff that he's questioning doesn't seem valid. I am just at the point now, mother, that I do not appreciate the way that he is coming about the situation. And I feel horrible for Kiely's mom and dad because Kiely was real. Kiely is a real dead little girl. And I just can't believe that you've had the audacity to sit there and say, there's no dead little girl. You owe her parents a damn apology, yo, for real. But you sit here and you say that the world lacks common sense and that people are stupid. And you're literally acting like it's basically the entire state of California at this point. Because you're all over the map with the news stations and all the different locations for the sheriff's department. Do you not know that law enforcement have multiple buildings in the areas? I am from a small town that has a main police station and then sub-police stations. And then the small town that I live in now is exactly the same way. Main police station with a small jail, and then there's substations. Why don't you know that? And then because the officer states that the FBI is going to be doing a thorough investigation to find out if there's anything missing, to make sure nothing gets missed in the investigation, Ryan then says, to find out who the hell it belongs to, meaning he doesn't even believe that this is Kiely's SUV. The officer is then asked if they have any idea how the vehicle got into the water and what gear the car was in. And his response, I didn't have an actual problem with, but Ryan seems to have had an issue. And he's basically stating that his response in saying he didn't want to make up theories at this point about how the vehicle got in the water and they weren't allowed to speak on the gear that the car was in, there's nothing wrong with that statement. But he's sitting here stating, oh, he doesn't want to answer it because everything's fabricated. No, moron, it's an ongoing investigation. They literally had just found her body like 24-ish hours before this press conference. They hadn't even started yet, yo. They can't answer that question. Then when a reporter asks this officer about AWP contacting the family, Ryan put something on this screen that says, people claiming they're people they aren't. What does that statement have to do with that question? What does saying people claiming they are people they aren't have to do with this reporter asking if AWP is the one who contacted the family after the vehicle was found? You are literally making no sense at this point, Ryan. None. He then for some reason starts talking about Hage. Now, okay. I have already planned on doing a video about the Hage situation because there's definitely a bunch of real sketch stuff right there. And when it comes to the celebrity world, those kinds of things are basically at this point like expected. We know that they lie to us. We know that our government lies to us. We know that our government orchestrates a bunch of stupid bullshit, okay? But when it comes to a small town little girl, no, dude. You're doing way too much. I don't care what anyone else is going to say here. You're just doing too much. So we're clear here. I do believe the Hage situation is really shady, and I believe that she was about to release some information that was very Jeff Epstein level the same way that Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington were, and I fully believe the stories that they did not themselves, okay? So yes, I will be doing a video about Hage, but him trying to compare a celebrity stupid situation that we already expect there to be some bullshittery with this, and then to say that her and Ellen were never together and there's no proof, sweetheart, it's everywhere. Everywhere. Look again. And then he states there's no video of this wreck. I'm sorry, but yes, we have security footage of her going down the neighborhood at like over $120, sir. And we also have video of her at a storage unit place where her driver's side bumper ended up hitting the corner of a building, and it was caught on camera by another person that was there in their vehicle because her behavior was strange, and so they pulled their camera out, okay? There is proof of this situation. Now, the fact that she sat up in that gurney and was trying to, like, fight those firefighters' hands to get off of her, and she had not a single burn mark on her body, those are reasons to suspect things, okay? That is a valid point to question more, especially since we saw her sit up, try to fight to get away. We're told that she was in stable condition, and then suddenly she declined, was in a coma, and died. I'm sorry, no. Those things are things to question. This is not. Now, about the only thing in this video he says that I agree with is where he states it's been like a reality show, people calling in, trying to act like they were involved or trying to act like they have something to do with it, okay? The Ronnie dude and the Xana May chick, okay, they were a little sketch. I don't care, all right? I'm going to agree with that, and I've agreed with that from the very beginning. Both of those situations were super sketch. You're a random dude who had cousins at the party, okay? And I'm going to go back to what I said in my last video. A parent coming forward, an older kid coming forward, a college-age kid that was there coming forward would have been sufficient, okay? But you've got some rando calling into a YouTube channel instead of going to the police or talking to anybody that's, you know, gonna actually be able to do something with this information, talking about, I had some cousins. No one cares about your cousins, okay? And then this Xana May chick basically got involved the exact same way that Ronnie did. Ronnie called in to Ick and Mel and acted like he was, you know, having knowledge of things. And then Xana May got on All American Dream Chasers Live and inserted herself in that case and suddenly was like a co-host on his little show for two or three episodes. She's sitting there talking about how, well, whenever you're on YouTube, you have to have thick skin. But your channel had 5 videos. And you hadn't uploaded anything in months until you went canoeing in the water where Kiely was found. So yeah, your behaviors made you sketchy. Now he's trying to basically state that this was all a scam for GoFundMe money. That you could literally just fake 3 people's deaths and become a millionaire in a week is his basis for this, like literally verbatim, okay? Now there is a GoFundMe account under Kiely Rodni's name in which her mother Lindsay is the beneficiary. But she did not create the damn thing. A lady named Amy with a last name that starts with a Q that I'm not going to butcher here because I have no idea how to say that. And it's almost at like $64,000 with a $150,000 like goal. Now, to me, that's a little sketch myself, in my opinion, to have a GoFundMe out there because it's not like there's medical expenses that need to be covered. We literally are dealing with burying a family member right now, and even with a regular burial, it would have been like $5 or $6 grand. I don't understand why they need a GoFundMe, but Lindsay's not the one who set it up. I don't know what they're going to actually be doing with this money. We've seen GoFundMe scams before, okay? Remember the homeless man who was apparently a hero for giving the lady his last $20 in gas and saving her, and then they scammed the world out of like hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay? So I can see here where he would be thinking something would be sketchy because this GoFundMe has a $150,000 goal for something that literally just has to end in the family paying for a funeral at this point because everything else is being taken care of by the taxpayers. This is a criminal investigation. So, I can see where he would be a little bit sketchy on that point, but that still has nothing to do with the fact that this is still a dead child and there's a grieving family. Have you guys ever watched The Number 23 with Jim Carrey? I would highly recommend. And I'm only bringing that movie up because in the next clip, Ryan does the thing where he unscrambles the letters in her name. And suddenly, Kiely Rodni unscrambles to, I killed Ronnie. Oh, and let me give you a little bit of advice, Ryan. When you're looking up phone numbers on Google, use the hyphens. This tip line that they showed on the news for Kiely, he's now trying to say was a fake number. But I mentioned the hyphens because Home Skillet doesn't use them in his Google search. That's why he's getting crap results. Because he gets this whenever he searches that number with no hyphens. But magically this morning, I put hyphens in it like a normal human would because it's a phone number. And look how legit this looks. Look at that. Not only that, but I'm going to just assume here that whenever someone goes missing and they need a tip line open, they probably create a phone number for that. So for there to be a phone number only created for tips for Kiely Rodni and Kiely Rodni only is probably not unusual. There's multiple things going on. They don't need their regular lines being crossed and blocked by people calling in with tips on specific things. So I'm pretty sure those things are organized. So this is where he goes to Google and obviously forgets how to use Google Earth. Because he pulls up the address associated with the phone number for the police department. And when he clicks on it to go to Google Earth, okay, it shows the big area where the police department is, the sheriff's station is. And then whenever he goes to Google Earth, the little person goes past the actual, like, building area into the road construction happening around it. And that's all he shows. He's like, oh, look, how is this a police station? How is this a sheriff's department? Well, because you're not on the grounds, sir. You're on the outside. You literally show us that your little man goes over the entire area by a few hundred feet probably, and then starts showing us the road construction. You don't go up that driveway. You don't turn your person around and go up the road to where those buildings are. You claim that this construction area is proof that this is a fake station, but all you did was not look at the map right. I'm going in and having to like rewatch clips just to make sure I'm getting the information that he's saying right, and I'm getting like more and more angry as I'm having to watch this. But I'm glad I did because it totally proves my point. Right here when he's going through this very long list of different Placer Sheriff departments. Did I say that right this time? Because I'm really sick and tired of hearing about it. I'm really trying to like say that word right, even though I don't really care for this police department. I don't feel like they did their job correctly. No one's going to change my mind on that. But this is like a Cajun, Texan, pecan, tomato situation. Okay, so please just leave me alone about it. But right here, as he's clicking on one of these, it literally states substation on the title of the building, therefore proving my point. And then he starts talking about the mausoleum lady. I don't know, I guess her first name is Angela. She's she's this one. Okay. So he starts talking about Fox 40, which is the news station that she works for, and how it's a fake news station. So he pulls it up on Google and looks at it and goes down with the little man on the street, and he's like, look, there's nothing that indicates that this is a news station. There's literally like 15 satellites right there on the building's grounds. Like right next to the building. While he is saying this, you see them in the middle of his screen. And there's a ginormous tower antenna right in the very back of the building. But there's no indication that this is a news station. Then in true like stalker fashion, because he must have like scoured the neighborhoods around this building for who knows how long, right? There's a house like in a neighborhood right behind this where there is a Honda SUV very similar to Kiely's, like backed up against the garage. And he's like, oh, look at this. There's a Honda just like Kiely's, and look, it's backed up so that we can see the plate. There's literally a blurred out license plate right on the front of that SUV. Blurred out because that's what Google does with your license plates. Another duh situation that he's reaching the hell way up his butt for. Like, I guess Honda only made one of those, right? Now, on the fence of this news station, there is like security, no trespassing type signs, okay? And on it, it has like what looks like a sheriff's star, and he's claiming that it's the actual like sheriff's department sign, but it's not. It's a security company sign. The number that he searches and the company that he finds, called Impact 911, is a private security company that has been in business for over 2 decades. They are private security for homeowners associations, apartment buildings, and businesses. So of course, if they were hired by Fox 40 or whoever owns that building to be security, their information would be on the gate. And then he goes on to take the address for the security company, and it goes to a building that's basically just like not marked, with a bunch of what looks like unmarked white cop cars in the front of it. Looks like a very typical private security building, but of course to him it's completely sketch. I'm gonna end this video saying this. As of now, the sheriff's department is looking for Ryan. They have commented on his social media for him to check his inboxes. Okay? Now, a lot of people are going to be like, oh God, we have to protect Ryan. They're only looking for him because he's onto something. No, sweetheart. If he was really onto something and they were going to be trying to shut him up, they would not be on Twitter and on his social media for the public eye to see that they want to speak to him. He'd have been taken out and nobody would have known what happened, is what would have happened if that was the case. So let's just not, okay? Ryan needs to stop. He is literally sitting here and stating there is no dead little girl, that AWP is basically lying about verifying that it was Kiely Rodni's vehicle, because according to Ryan, he ran the plate and it came back to nothing. He is full of it, and I don't know what his issue is, but he is not letting this little girl rest and anyone pay attention to what needs to be paid attention to in this case, whenever he's gotten everyone all up in a tizzy about some bullshit. I was on board with what he was doing for the most part in the beginning of this little journey of his, because like I've said, I saw the connections the same way that he saw the connections. Everything that he was saying at that point, he could physically prove by showing us him searching it on the internet and it just popping up and it just being there whenever he was doing these searches. But at this point, he's literally just making crap up. At this point, he is no better than the people that I've already been complaining about, who put photos through editing systems to make it fit their narrative so that they can get views on their channel. Now, Ryan doesn't need viewers. I mean, he has almost 3 million subs and he's an independent artist. But something is definitely going on here. Like, I understand people's brains all work differently, but at this point, I really feel like he's the one fabricating things. Like, I get it, okay? We don't really have a lot of evidence to go on, and there really might not have been a party, yo. Because guess what? There's been several stories of best friends luring best friends to places and then beating the crap out of them, and leaving them for dead, or literally just luring them there to kill them, okay? We don't know what in the world happened. And if we keep doing all this crazy, ridiculous, dramatic crap, we're never gonna figure it out. Never.